Okay, today's date is 5/18/18. Okay, girls, here we go. All right, example number 1. So first of all, here's our formulas. We know that this is an arithmetic formula. That's the arithmetic one. And we know arithmetic is basically going to be adding to make the next term. Thank you, Katie. So we're going to be adding to make the next term, and what we're adding has to be the same number over and over again, like plus 5, plus 5, plus 5. That's what it makes arithmetic. So think about arithmetic, the word arithmetic, think about add, okay? Arithmetic, you're adding, or subtracting, right? Okay, so find the 20th term in the sequence of 32, 25, 18, 11, 4. Now, first of all, is it arithmetic? Well, seems like we're going down by 7 each time. So D is going to be -7 because we're subtracting, right? So if we want the 20th term, we're just going to say, okay, that's easy. I'm going to go A of 20 because I'm looking for the 20th term, right? Is equal to A1. Well, we know the first term is 32 plus, we want the 20th term, so N is 20 minus 1 times D, which is the difference, times -7. It's just that easy. I'm going to grab a calculator, push the buttons, get my answer, right? Everybody agree? Pretty easy? Okay. Let me know if I'm going too fast. 32 plus 20 minus 1 times the -7. And I get an answer of negative 101. There it is. Okay. A of 20 is -101. Okay. Handy. If you don't know these formulas, then it's going to be a real bummer because when we take our next test, you're going to have to make it to the 20th term, which will work. But, my goodness, formula is so much faster, right? Okay, example 2. So, there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms, but I don't know the second, third, or fourth. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and find D. If I figure out what D is, then I can go through and make the next term, make the next term, make the next term, right? So I'm going to use my formula. I'm going to use my formula. A of n equals A1 plus n minus 1 times D to figure out what D is. So I know everything else but D. I do. I know everything else. I know that the last term is -17. I know the first term is 11. I know there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms. And I know that I don't know D, but I can find D, right? So I just plugged everything in. -17 is my last term. 11 is my first term. There are 5 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm just looking for D. So let's simplify this. -11, I've got a -28 equals a 4D, right? You okay with the 4D? Divide by 4, and D is -7. So now what I can do is go back up to here and make the next terms, because I'm just going to subtract 7. So I'll go 11 minus 7, and I get 4, right? Minus 7, I'm going to get -3, right? Minus 7, I get -10, and there it is. I found the missing terms. But I had to find D. I had to find the difference between the terms to create the next term.
Can't you just add up the 2 ones and then divide by 4? Like, that's how we used to do it.
Awesome. That's exactly what the formula did, didn't it? You're totally right, Claire. How's that for an answer?
If you can do that, you can add up.
Yeah. But I don't want to confuse kids, right? Right? Because Claire, yes, and that's exactly what we did, right? Yeah. Okay, number 3. Okay, example 3. Find the 6th term of the arithmetic sequence. So what I have is the 9th, and I have the 14th, right? So I'm going to write down, I've got 1, here's my 120, here's my 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and my 14th is 195, okay? Right? This is my 9th, my 10th, my 11th, and my 12th, and my 13th, right? And then my 14th. Okay, now the way I like to approach this one is I'm going to change things around. All I really need is D. All I really need is D. So I'm going to do it just like I did the one before, but I'll start at 120. I'll call this my first term. I'll call this my last term because I just need to find D. Does that make sense? So for a minute, I'm just going to hypothetically say that this be my first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, right? And then I'm going to find out what R happens to be, or not R, but D, and then I can work my way backwards. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Okay, so I'm going to use my A of n equals A1 plus n minus 1 times D. I'm going to put 195 as my sixth term. Okay, sixth term is equal to 120 times 6 minus 1 times D. Even though 195 is really my 14th term, I'm going to slide myself up and look at ninth being the first term and 195 being the sixth term. Okay, so then I can find out, it's supposed to be a plus there, isn't it? Plus, my bad. So 195 minus 120, 195 minus 120 is a 75 is equal to 5D. Divide, and I get 15, okay? So the difference is 15. So now I got two choices, okay? If I need this sixth term, right, I can just work it backwards. That might be the easiest way to do it. So if I work it backwards, and 120 is my ninth, my eighth, my seventh, and then my sixth, I know that I'm adding 15, adding 15, adding 15, adding 15. But let's go backwards now. To go backwards, we just subtract 15. So 120 minus 15 is 105. All right? Subtract 15, I get 90. Subtract 15, and I get 75. That would be my sixth term. Okay?
So the way that Claire said it, it'd just be the difference between the difference between those numbers, right? It wouldn't be.
And divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
Because we used to do these on our, remember those books that had the squares and you had to do the math squares and those little books from elementary school and they'd be like, you gotta do these.
And you gotta find the pattern. Yeah. 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 Okay, turn the page. Okay. Now find the sum. Okay, we've done this before too. We're going to find the sum. If it's arithmetic, we have this formula, n times a1 plus an divided by 2, which, hey, it's right there, right? Right? So, all right, find the sum of the first 15 terms of, and it seems to me like it is arithmetic, right? The difference, D, is going to be 13, negative 13. Thank you, Claire. You guys okay with that? Negative 13. So if I want the sum, I'm going to use this formula. I'm going to go S of 15 because I'm looking for the sum of the first 15 terms. S because the sum of 15 because I'm looking for the sum of the first 15 terms. Okay, the formula says it's going to be equal to n times a1 plus an divided by 2. Okay, now I have everything but a of n. I don't know a of n. I don't know what the last term is. So do a little squiggle here. Do a little squiggly here. Let's put in what I know, okay? Got S of 15 is equal to 15 times 25 plus something divided by 2. So I don't know the last term. But, hey, lo and behold, I have a formula for finding the last term, don't I? Okay? So I'm going to use both formulas. I'm going to say, okay, I need the last term. I need the 15th term. So I need A of 15. I have to find A of 15 because I want to put that answer right there. When I get it, I got to have the last term, look for the 15th term. So to get that, I'm going to use my formula, which is my A1 plus my n minus 1 times D, and I should then be able to find out what my 15th term is. So A of 15 is equal to A1, which is 25, plus, I'm looking for 15 terms. I'm looking for 15 terms, so 15 minus 1. And I know D, the difference is negative 13. Okay, and I can just use my calculator to figure out what that is. Right? I'll do that. Clear, and I will plug in then 25 plus 14 times negative 13. And I get negative 157. So the last term is negative 157. So my goal here was to use my summation formula, but I didn't know the last term. I didn't know the 15th term, but I had to make it. So now that I have the 15th term, I'll put my negative 157 right in there. And I'll just use my calculator to get an answer, okay? So I'm going to go then 15 parentheses 25 minus 157 divided by 2, and I get an answer of negative 990. Okay, how am I doing? So it's just a matter of using the formulas, right? And that's what Anlin said. She kind of likes this stuff because it's formulas, right? Yeah, just got to plug it in. Okay, example 5.
I don't really believe it is 990.
Because you're adding them up, and you know it's going to get big pretty quickly, right? Right?
Oh, yeah, it's a sum. Never mind.
It's a sum.
I thought it wasn't a sum. I was like, there's no way. Okay.
Yeah, but it's a sum, right? Okay, example 5. This says find the sum, doesn't it? It says find the sum. So this is arithmetic, and if you're not sure if it is or isn't arithmetic, it actually fits the form for an arithmetic. If you look at, but if you're not sure if it's arithmetic, remember how we made some terms, right, Natalie? We actually made some. So if you're not sure, you can make some terms. You go, okay, A1 is 7, because I put it in 1, right? A2 is, plug in 2, I get 11. If I plug in 3, I get, let's see, 12, 13, 14, 16. And pretty soon you realize, hey, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure it's arithmetic, okay? And you might have been able to see it was arithmetic right off the bat. Claire, could you see it was arithmetic right off the bat?
There's no exponent or anything.
Right, it's just a plain old linear term, so it's got to be. So we have a formula, right? So we're going to use our S of n equals our n times our A1 plus AN divided by 2, right? We're going to use that formula. So we want the sum. So we're going to go, okay, S of 25. Girls, do you mind going outside? And you guys can talk and laugh and all that stuff, but outside, please. Okay, you're not in trouble. It's just it's easier for me to teach if you're not talking. Okay? Okay, if you're not going to listen, pay attention, take notes, sit outside, and I'm going to teach, okay? So, n is the number of terms, which is 25. A1 is the first term. We found that. That's 7. A of n is the last term. So to make the last term, let's just put the 25 in. That'll make the last term, right? So 4 times 25 is 100, plus 3 is 103, divided by 2, right? Okay, then I'm going to go 25 times 7 plus 103 divided by 2, and I get an answer of 1,375, right? Okay, so big deal. Why do we even learn these formulas? What is the point, right? So here's a great example, right? It actually is a pretty good example because I could pay somebody to count all the chairs, right? I could. Or I could just sit there and use a formula and get the answer quickly, right? I mean, you know, some kid could go and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretty soon the kid's going to come up with a pattern, right? And figure, wait a minute, there's a pattern. Why should I count every chair when there's a pattern? And there is. So right off the bat, there's 1. So A1 seems to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right? A2 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. A3, believe it or not, is 13. So what we're doing is just adding one chair every row, okay? So it is arithmetic. So if I want the 14th row, I could just keep going, or I could add 14 to 11, right, Claire? But I'm going to use the formula, okay? It is arithmetic, so I want A of 14, because that's the 14th row. That's going to be A1, which is 11, plus N, which is 14, minus 1, times D, which is 1, right? That will make my 14th row, okay? So then that's 11 plus 13, right? And I get 24. So the 14th row will have 24 chairs. All right. Probably could have figured that out without a formula, but it was pretty quick with the formula. Now, finally, we had to add them all up. So I'm going to have 11 plus 12 plus 13 plus 14 plus 15. We could do that, right? We could do that. Or we could just use a formula. It is arithmetic, so I want S of 14, which is going to be, let's see, N, which we know is 14, times A1, which we know A1 is 11. And we know A of 14, we just found it, right? A of 14 is 24 divided by 2. I'm just going to use my calculator. 14 times 11 plus 24 divided by 2, and I get an answer of 1,995 shares total, right? And that's a lot faster than paying some kid who's probably going to lose count, right, anyhow, to count all those shares, okay? That's all I got. Pretty easy, right?